Kyle Young Money Larson. Can't go without him, baby. I don't care if you're racing tricycles out here on this Chicago street course. He's got to be in your top 5, man. You bet money you got to have him in the lineup. You got to. He's just that good. You never know when he's going to pop one off and win. So, what's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang, coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Man, I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday night. Got some things to go over, some dropping NASCAR news, a little bit of recap of that Nashville race, man. So let's get right on into it. If you're new to tuning into the show, we like to start it out with what we call the word of the day. So the way we play this game is I'm going to say a word, and every time I do, you take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I like to say it's age appropriate as well. If you're under 21, it's summertime, man. You ain't got school in the morning. Go ahead, get some sweet tea, energy drink, play along, stay up late, give it hell, man. So last week's word of the day was Toyota, which headed into Nashville. I probably said that quite a bit, man. I mean, you know, those were some of my picks on there. So I'm sure if you played along, probably had a pretty good buzz going and by the time the end of the episode for sure, man. So this week's word of the day is going to be, I have no idea, but every time I say it, take a sip, y'all. So getting into that NASCAR news, but before we get started, man, I really do want to give a thoughts and prayers go out there to Mr. 7-time Jimmie Johnson, man, him and his family. I'm not going to speak too much about that news that's out there, just a terrible, horrific thing that's going on. And, man, I just hope for a quick healing with everybody that's involved in that surrounding family and getting 7-time back to the track, man. So thoughts and prayers out there for you, Jimmy. So he finally did it, y'all. He proved me wrong. I'm a liar. I talked too much about it. I put it in the universe, damn it. And I'm pretty upset about it because I was hoping he'd go winless.
Come on, man.
But Ross the Watermelon Man Chastain gets that first win of the season, man. Got it there at Nashville this past weekend. Good run for the Trackhouse 1 car. We're going to talk about a little bit more about that in just a bit. But, hey, man, he got it done. Locked himself into those playoffs for sure, as if we already knew he wasn't locked in. But, damn. So, with everything going on with Jimmy, as you guys know, we're headed out to Chicago this weekend. Legacy Motor Club has went ahead and pulled that entry for Jimmie Johnson. 84 will not be running there at Chicago, which I think is the right thing to do with everything that's happened. You know, his main focus needs to be that family and definitely not anything that's going on in the NASCAR world right now. So, bummer not going to see him there at Chicago. I know a lot of fans probably were looking forward to seeing 7-time and just a great ambassador for the sport, and brings a lot of big names out when he comes out to definitely check him out and what he does on the racetrack. But again, like I said, family's number one overall, and you know, he's got to take care of his business over on that side of things. So if you hadn't yet, man, please go out, like, share, follow, all that social media out there. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but most importantly, man, go subscribe out there to that YouTube channel, Rubbin' and Grubbin'. We're getting there, man. We've been sitting solid at 294 for like 3 weeks, man, but as soon as we get to 300, I'm giving away the Dale Jr. hood, man. I'm telling you, the 06 Dale Jr. hood, the frosted tips, the heartthrob himself for all them country girls out there, man. I think, man, this man's slang. Be glad Trojan didn't sponsor him. I'll tell you that, because that man, there might have been a lot of babies or a lot of defaults, boys. Rocket sales for him. But like I said, still got the shrink wrap on it, man. We get to 300. We need 6 more subscribers, man. Tell your friends, tell your family, get your grandma hooked up, man. Make a fake account. I don't care what you do, man. Let's get to 300. Get this mailed out to you. But we got that. Also got that Kevin Harvick autographed, you know, one I think 150, comes with a certificate of authenticity. We're still trying to give that bad boy away too. We're trying to get to a number, maybe 400, man, but we'll see where we go. Trying to give it away this year. It will get given away this year at some point in time. Retirement year for Harvick. Be a nice piece. Either one, nice piece for the man cave, man, for the NASCAR room. So go out there, subscribe. Like I always say, man, the more eyes we get on the show, hopefully the more awareness we get for the charitable events we do here at Coach's Corner. So, you know, let's raise some money for these kids or whatever the cause may be, man. So coming out on the Xfinity side of things, we all know Sheldon Creed, a.k.a. Austin Powers, is, as Lawrence likes to call him, penalized, man, for that, you know, the wreck incident that happened. And I tell you what, I don't know when guys are going to learn, but you need to take a book out of a page out of Chase Elliott's book. It didn't work out for him. He still got suspended. But he damn sure didn't get on the radio and tell him he did it on purpose, or get out of the car and say I did it on purpose. You know, he said, hey, man, car broke. I couldn't steer it. And I still believe him, to be honest with you. I still believe the car broke, man. You know, but at the end of the day, man, penalized there. And, you know, it's been a talking point there. It's something new that we're understanding. NASCAR is looking at data and telemetry, and they're listening to radio communications more now than they ever have, and taking it word for word. So, look, if you're gonna rush somebody up intentionally in the car, you can't talk about it before you do it. You can't talk about it after you've already done it. And you definitely can't say you're going to do something in the future. You know what I mean? Just, you know, handle your business. Say what you got to say. Car broke. Didn't do it intentionally. Just meant to rattle his cage a little bit. I mean, seniors seemed to get away with that one. That one was okay. But, you know, at the end of the day, you just can't admit fault. You can't go out and admit intent. You know, you can't say you did it intentionally. So, maybe he'll learn. He's a young driver. I like him. Got a lot of talent. But come on, man. Just drive the race car. Just got to shut your mouth sometimes. Just do what you got to do. Handle your business, bro. So that'll wrap it up for that NASCAR news, man. Make sure everybody tunes in next week. After the Chicago race, we are getting ready to go back to my home track, Atlanta. Hot Atlanta, baby. I always like to throw it on. Atlanta man, get up. Atlanta man will be here live in person next week doing his thing. Might have a special guest. I'll see if he can make it swing. One of my buddies going down there. I will not, unfortunately, be able to attend. I got to work. Getting out of work's really hard, doing what I do. So won't be there in July. But I'll be back in the spring, man. But I will be here live at Coach's Corner in the Sound Garden doing rubbing and grubbing. Atlanta man himself next week. So tune in, man. But getting into the checkered flag for charity, man, had that cooler full of joy. Had some issues going on up here, technical issues with coaches that were a little bit more important than doing that. Unfortunately, I hate to say it that way, but the show's got to go on, and that's what everybody paid to come and see. So we're going to roll that cooler over into this week. So if you plan on coming out, make sure you bring some extra money for that checkered flag for charity. Like I said, all the proceeds go to Jamie Searhouse Monroe with life expenses. You know, if you don't know her story, lost her husband and her mother in a very short period of time. So there again, readjusting to life, learning to live without her best friend, and also taking care of her father that's still there. So, you know, come together as a community, man. Let's raise some more money. We've been doing good. I forgot my sheet over there, but I know it's right around $2,500. That's a good cause, man, for a NASCAR show, right? Doing awesome. So, you know, at the end of the day, just make sure you bring some extra dough if you come out of these Sound Garden events or any charitable event at Coach's. Like I always say, man, if you come in for some cold beers or food after work, stop your waitress, tell your waiter, the bartender, if you see John or Adele walking by, stop one of them, tell them you want to donate into the checkered flag for charity. They'll make sure it goes to the right place. And the best thing about it is that all stays local, man. Again, going to do a few more for her. Going to switch some gears here later on in the year, help raise some money for some of the charitable event and causes that John has going on. Going to have some Dogs tickets, going to have some Braves tickets, man. So we got some big things going. Like I said, make sure you follow that social and chip into that checkered flag for charity, man. As I always say, nickels, pennies, dime, 10, 20s, 150s. Doesn't matter what it is you got to donate. Throw it in. Give yourself a pat on the back. That's all that matters. So getting into that Who's Hot and the Who's Not, sponsored by Arbor Man Tree Service. Best tree service here in Savannah. Parker Eccles, local operator and owner. Locally owned, locally operated, insured, man. Doesn't matter what it is. As I always like to say, full tree removal, stump grinding, getting some limbs cut back. We're into that hurricane season. You got some limbs hanging over the house? Hey, man, getting them cut back is a lot cheaper than a brand new roof, or better yet, a tree going through your living room. So make sure you give Parker a call over there at Arbor Man. You'll see that number scrolling all night long. Like I always like to say, no job too big, too small. Give Parker a call. Love you, brother, and I'm going to try to call you next week, get in contact with you about that Atlanta race, and we'll talk then about some things, man, but love you, dude. So getting into the Who's Hot. So taking over the #1 spot, man, we got a new guy taking over that #1, and that's Martin Truex Jr., man. Martin Truex Jr. over the last few weeks is on fire. The win at Sonoma, the runner-up there at this past week at Nashville. I tell you, I think that this man has shown that he is there to contend this year for a championship. As long as they keep that ball rolling in the right direction, keeping things going smooth on pit road, I see the 19 Joe Gibbs Toyota being a contender there to fight, if not for, but maybe even make it into that Final Four. I mean, we know he can do it. We've seen him do it a million times, few times in his career. Came home victorious with that championship there. This caliber race team and this caliber driver, you can't count anything out. So Martin Truex Jr. taking over that number 1 spot, man. Number 2, come on, if it's any surprise, man. Kyle the Martian Larson, a.k.a. Young Money, taking over the 2nd spot. Now, another top 5 run there at Nashville. Maybe not winning the races as we'd expect. Maybe some of the speed we've lacked. And I think that might just come down to car setup and the style tracks we've gone to, right? Way I look at it, man, is you better get ready for him to ramp up here in these next 9 and into the playoffs. Maybe they're trying some new things. Maybe they're trying to figure out some different setups as we get into the playoffs. Maybe some of that will carry over to a couple different tracks there. But look, top 5 again, like I said, at Nashville, running top 5s. I think he's got 7 total overall top 5 finishes on the year. I want to say that's the most out of any Cup Series driver. I know it's a lot, maybe not the most. Find himself 9th in points due to the penalty early in the year, but can't ever count out Young Money any track we go to. So I'll put Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels there 2nd on that list. 3rd, come on, man, as if it's any surprise, baby. Chase the Bulldog Elliott's 3rd, man. 9 round, missing 7 races. You know what I mean? 9 left to go. Seems like this man's a peg for the top 5, top 8 every single week. 27th or 25th, 26th in points, 60-something behind the cut line. This man might not even have to win to get in, dude. He keeps getting stage points, keeps getting those top 5, top 3 finishes. I'd like to see him win. To be honest with you, I need him to win. I need him to get 4 wins so I can go ahead and take that real sweet $100 bill from Matt Harrington that me and him made a bet in Atlanta about. I need that hundo, man. It comes real sweet from Matt. So I need him to win 4. I need 4 races, which I think is still doable. We got 19 races left, and that's still a good bit, right? We got 19, right? Yeah, I think that's still a good bit of races to make it happen. 1 out of every 4 and some change. That's plenty of time for Elliott, man. He might win this one this week. At the end of the day, I just think that you can't count out Chase Elliott and Alan Gustafson when it comes to a playoff, when it comes to making the playoffs, when it comes to winning races. This year wasn't the picturesque year I think the 19 was looking for, but at the end of the day, they're making the best out of it. Elliott said it himself. They're finding more speed. They're becoming more consistent running that top 5. I always say it. If the man's inside the top 5 coming down to that last pit stop and it's a caution, in a caution, or under green within a second, I think they got time. I think they got something they can work with. So just got to keep an eye on it, man. One of the best driver crew chief combinations that's in the sport. We'll see if they can keep that momentum rolling as we go into Chicago, but expect that 9 camp to bring the heat again in that 9 car, man. So that'll wrap it up for the Who's Hot. We're getting ready to get into the Who's Not, but before we do, we're going to pause for station identification right here at Coach's Corner Sports Network, the center of the universe. Boy, summertime's hit Savannah finally. I'm telling you, we're still a little bit cooler than what we normally are, but man, it's humid as hell out here. Cheers, y'all. Woo! All right, man. So getting into that Who's Not, we got some usual suspects on this, man. It's really hard to find a guy that's not, right? I'm not going to hate on Ross Chastain who just went out and won. I don't think he's on the hot list yet. I ain't giving him that much credit. Now he goes out and wins another one. He's probably on the hot list. I mean, I'll pay credit, give credit and respect where respect's due. And these guys, I don't know what's going on with them this year, but they are slacking and lacking a lot of things, man. Number 1 on the not list, as if it's any surprise, Chase the Briscoe. He damn sure ain't cooking with no grease, I promise you that, man. This 14 team has struggled since he got that finger repaired. It seemed like, well, we'll throw a couple in there, 1 for me and 1 for him, because he's probably cussing too. But I know at the end of the day, man, I tell you what, that 14 team seemed to open up the season strong, right? I mean, had a string of top 5s there. I said, all right, maybe knowing Harvick's retiring, maybe the 14 is going to be the one that steps up and takes the sword and the crown away and says, hey, follow me over there at Stewart-Haas. But that has not been the Cinderella story that I think we were hoping for, man. I know he's a young kid. He's got a lot of talent. Man, but they just slacked. They lacked and slacked everything this year. Speed, pit road, go ahead and break the finger again, man. I think that was your good luck charm. Should have just kept the finger broken until the season was over. But I'm not downing them in that aspect. Like I said, I know he's talented. I know they got good equipment over there. I think Stewart-Haas is playing a little bit of catch-up. I think with Ford changing that nose a little bit and the aerodynamics in the car, And last year, the struggles were real with him as well. Man, I just think right now as a whole, I think Ford's struggling. I mean, when you look at Logano and you look at Blaney, Penske, the top Ford team, if you ask me, then you look at Stewart-Haas as a whole, they're just struggling a little bit. So I'm not going to downplay it and say that I don't think some of this is self-inflicted, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to hit on them too hard. But they definitely got to find some speed. They got to unload faster. They got to find some consistency, and they definitely got to get better on pit road, in and off, on track, off the track, in the shop. I think they need to build a little camaraderie. But at the end of the day, I think they'll get it turned around. And you got 19 races left to try to propel yourself in that direction. So I think as long as they take baby steps and they find some speed and they make some changes on pit road and get that faster pit stops and get the feel back in the race car for Briscoe. I think they don't have the feel for him. He doesn't know what to tell him what to do, or I don't know, maybe if the relation to information is being lost through the radio. But at the end of the day, they got to get some things together. Tony definitely doesn't like that. And I mean, I'd hate to say it, but I'd hate for Josh Berry to come in and say, hey, young bucks, follow me. I'm the man at Stewart-Haas. So we'll see what happens, but something to keep an eye on. Austin Cindric, another young driver, failing, I feel like, to complete those shoes. I mean, there again, another Ford. And when you look at Joey having the wins, you look at Ryan Blaney having that win, consistency has been issues with Blaney sometimes. Joey's kind of found a way. He's had bad races, don't get me wrong, but he's kind of found a way to keep himself in the contention, which is really Joey's style. He's just quietly good. You know, there's times where he gets a couple wins, just like last year. A couple wins here and there, and then next thing you know, nobody's really talking about him being in contention and being a race winner and this and that, and then win championship. So Joey doesn't surprise me, but Cindric, I feel like, really needs to put it all together. Again, lacking the speed, I think lacking the feel in the race car, lacking the communication. Got to load up better and unload better. Got to do some work there at those shops. When you got two teammates that seem to be able to find speed, whether it's at a certain track or certain style track or not, and you're behind, man, that there's deeper issues there. So second on the not list, man. Third on the not list, and I hate to put this guy on there, and it's really just the last two races. And they're really kind of gremlins, and I was struggled, and it hurts me. But it's Tyler Reddick. And I still got to come up with a nickname for Tyler Reddick. I don't know. If you guys got a nickname for Tyler Reddick, throw it out there, man. Comment on the section. I really like to hear some comments for Tyler Reddick. You know, nickname comments, man. What should be a good nickname for Tyler Reddick? I mean, it's probably one of the most talented up-and-coming drivers, young drivers we got in the sport. But if you go back and look at Sonoma, you know, spun himself out late there, decent run going. Supposed to be the road course king. Bad run, which I still think Chase Ellitt's road course king. You ask me. That's just my cup of tea. The Bulldog is the road course king in the new age. But at the end of the day, Tyler Reddick's a close second. I'll give him that. But just a bad run there. Spun out, went the wrong way, got penalized, had a horrible finish. Right? That's kind of like a him doing. Now this weekend at Nashville, we'll talk a little bit more. But if you know, lost a tire. That's kind of more on the team's doing. Right? Didn't get that lug tight. Spun out, cost him. Man, pass-through penalty that goes along with that as well, setting back. I think he finished back in the 30s. So not a good look. Couple bad races. I think the 45 team gets that all changed around. Chicago is the perfect place to do it. We will see who the road course king is this weekend out of those two drivers. This is somewhere neither one of them has raced. Who's done their homework? Who's sat in the simulator? Who's going to come and have the car to be able to handle a flat street course surface? That's the main thing. Is there going to be grip? Is there not going to be grip? I mean, asphalt made for a road is a lot different than asphalt we see on these tracks. Tire compound, I don't know what Goodyear's bringing, but it's going to be different. So I think the person that hits on it through simulation and brings that into the racetrack and is able to adjust to the racetrack during the race in those pit stops will be the best. But we're going to find out who the king is. But for right now, Tyler Reddick on the not list, man. I hate to do that to him because I like him. All right, man, getting into that Nashville recap, baby. What a good race. You know, it wasn't that bad of a race, man. I mean, honestly, kind of a snoozer. You know, wasn't a lot of passing throughout the field like you like to see. But at the end of the day, what can you expect? Sometimes it bees like that. I'm really glad that Nashville got moved to a night race. Even then, the temperatures were scorching hot. Man, I know the feeling. It's getting ready to be hot in Atlanta here in a couple of weeks. Getting ready to be hot at Chicago. It's just hot. It's summertime, baby. Takes that true devoted fan to go sit in them stands and watch that race. So I'm glad these fans got a break as it transitioned into night. Atlanta will catch that break here coming up next week as well as that being a night race. But I tell you what, man, I'm so glad for that. I think there's some things that maybe we need to see happen at a few of these tracks. And I think the tire compound, I think we need more tire wear at some of these racetracks. Honestly, we do. At a place like that with tire wear, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You lose the fuel mile strategy, which we didn't see any of, right? Cautions really didn't fall. You don't really see too much fuel strategy outside of road courses, and it even then takes cautions to fall at the right time to be able to implement that. But if you give a soft compound where tires eat, everybody's going to take 4 tires. Nobody's able to stay out and run that long fuel window. But I think it would definitely help. I think if we were only able to run 45 laps on a set of tires at, say, at Nashville or at a Worldwide Technology, if 45 laps was max and the fuel window is 90, you're going to get more green flag pit stops. You're going to get a little bit more strategy maybe thrown in there. Who's going to stretch it out? Who's going to run those tires 65 and do that twice in a race? Just some things to think about. But at the end of the day, to me, not a bad race. I'll rank it down probably on the bottom spectrum of the top, let's say, breaking the tiers down to best races this year into 3s, probably in the bottom third. I will say that. You know, I mean, there was a couple other ones out there I think that were bad, but this one was kind of a snooze fest as well. Wasn't much action on the track when you looked out throughout the field, and the 3 cars battling up front ran away with it. So Ross the Watermelon Man, Chastain grabbed a hold of that 6-string guitar, man, his first. What a cool trophy there at Nashville, by the way. You know, really one of the first oval wins that he's had that I think that he came out and had the best car when it came down to it. So not going to hate on him. Like I said, Trackhouse and Chastain, I'm glad he said what he had to say. You know, when you doubt yourself, I think it goes in. And maybe he doubted himself a little bit over the last few weeks of Justin Marks. And for everybody out there thinking that Rick Hendrick picked the phone up and called Chevrolet, I don't think that's what happened at all, man. I like to joke about it, but I think Justin Marks had a conversation with him, and you heard him say it. You know, hey, look, I'm not trying to take your aggressiveness away, right? All I'm saying is don't build more enemies and don't wreck yourself out of these races that are top 5s and top 4s in contention for wins. We saw at Darlington. Who knows? He might have been able to win that one from Larson, you know, had he squeezed him up like Larson did him. But now he dive bomb and doored him, and Larson decided he was going to do what he did and right rear him and no suspension. Thank God. I'm glad NASCAR didn't suspend Kyle Larson for that. But at the end of the day, Chastain learned. He adapted, and he's a race winner. He's got talent. We all know he's got talent. I'm not doubting the talent. I'm just doubting the respect aspect. So now hopefully his head doesn't get too big from eating all those watermelon seeds, and it goes back to doing the same shit that he did before. But at the end of the day, like it or not, got the win, and he's here to stay, and I like that, man. So big kudos and shout out to Ross Chastain, man. Good job, brother. Hey, man, those Gibbs Toyota, I tell you what, they look good. The 11, the 19, and the 20, and even the 54 had a good run. But those 3 cars, all top 10. Man, I tell you what, seemed like Truex had a car to beat there for a while. I think it went away from him a little bit. Maybe didn't make a change here and there they should have, or made a change that didn't go their way. But at the end of the day, man, I'm telling you what, 19 and 11. I had the 11 in our local game of skill up here at Coaches, and I was pulling hard for him, man. I said, damn, you know, they ran him down. He held him off there at the end of stage 2, and I'm like, all right, baby, you know, good pit stops, came out, ran again. And I'm going, man, all right. And then when it came down to that last pit stop, I don't know what happened, but it wasn't a good one, man. 11-8 or 11-9 or whatever it was, and everybody else is busting quickies, and I'm going, damn. And that cost it right there, especially after Chastain already had a little bit of lead. So wasn't meant to be, but hey, good, strong runs there from those Toyotas. And I tell you, it's funny. I got to do a hard right turn about it. It's funny how certain tracks fit certain manufacturers. Toyota's really good here. I think Chevrolet is really that only manufacturer that's just good everywhere you take them. Yeah, that's right. That bow tie, baby. That bow tie. So we'll have to see what happens, man. But like I said, good run for those Toyota Gibbs Toyotas, man. So like I said, big shout out to that Jones boy, Eric Jones, baby, getting that top 10 run there for, Legacy Motor Club. That's exactly what that team needed, man. That team needed that run for him for sure. They had been struggling on and off all year, and you look back at last year and you look at just the good runs that they had over there. I mean, it was a surprise to me. It caught me off guard going, man, okay, these guys are, you know, top 10, top 15s, in and out, consistent during the season. And that was an awesome deal. So for them, you expect bigger things coming out this year. They kind of regressed, took a step back. But this is their chance now over the next 19 races to put that 43 and 42 car together. Noah, you got to give a little credit for. It's a rookie. You know, getting the information and communication down with the team, the feel in the race car, I give him a little bit. But the Jones situation, you would think they had a good notebook off last year, and they just been swinging and missing. So what a good run. I think that Eric is a very talented young race car driver. I tell you what, I don't know how many years he has left there at Legacy. I think they signed him for at least 2 to 3 more. But I tell you what, he's going to be young enough when that's up there. If a ride's open at a Stewart-Haas or a ride's open at Roush Fenway, if they decide to go 3, or even Toyota over at 2311, if they decide to go 3 cars, or Trackhouse with 3 cars, Eric Jones is a guy in a name, along with Corey LaJoie, I would look at for sure, of experience behind the race car, behind the wheel, in the car, and also just the talent behind the wheel. So hopefully they get that ball rolling, keep that momentum rolling, and you see Eric Jones become a week in, week out, top 10, top 12 name, baby. So getting into that Chicago preview, but before we do, we're going to pause one last time for station identification right here, Coach's Corner Sports Network. Now, I'm telling you, boy, who would ever thunk you sweating so much from running your mouth up here talking NASCAR, but boy, I'm pouring it right now. Cheers, y'all. Whew. All right, baby, Chicago street race, man. The one people had circled all year long on that calendar, even when it hit the airwaves a year, maybe even a year plus ago, and we started talking about it. This is one that's got the critics and the ones loving it, digging it, got it circled, baby. This thing, you know, NASCAR set out to draw a crowd. Well, it did exactly that, man. New eyes on the sport. The venue, and we're going to talk about a little bit this more in another segment of the show, but I tell you what, 70% of ticket sales are new NASCAR fans, first-time ticket buyers, and that's something to be said. Now, here's the deal, man. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a NASCAR parade with the car about every second and a half going by and riding around the beautiful street course as you see right here for a couple hours. Now, like I said, the venue and all that, but we're going to see. I'm a doubter. I'm going to tell you this. I'm a doubter. After watching Sonoma, watching Circuit City of the Americas, outside of the late restarts and outside of restarts, 2 laps, you guys, they get spread out on natural road courses, man. For something that's got as many hard turns as I'm seeing right here behind me, I don't see very many passing zones. I see a few, but I also see cars getting stretched out and going to need some calamity and chaos to group them back up and bring that excitement. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not going to jock it too bad till I see it, but man, if it turns into a parade, what a horrible look for NASCAR for all those new fans. Top 5. Number 1 on that top 5 list, baby. I'm going MTJ himself, Martin Truex Jr. I think after that show we put on at Sonoma, why would you doubt him here on the street course? Different beast, but I tell you what, he had a car to beat. If they bring that car back to this, which I'm sure they will, going to be something to reckon with, man. So I'll take the 19-1. 2. Come on, baby. That homegrown Georgia boy, the Bulldog himself, Chase Elliott, baby, going number 2 on that list. Look, I'm telling you, road course king when you come to new drivers, baby. Top 5 at Sonoma. I see him running top 3 here. I see him qualifying well. I see him, you know, maybe even getting out and leading some laps, baby. No, I'm going to eat it up. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, man. So, I look at him as having a really good run, and what a better place to lock in with the first win with that 9 car in victory lane, baby. Be good luck. Georgia boy. Go get him, Chase. Number 3 for me, excuse me. 3-shy Kyle Busch, baby. I tell you what. Really good season for him. A better season than I think I expected him to have. I knew he was going to run good, but I think it would have taken some time to put together at RCR. He has done a great job molding that team into what he needs and molding that race team back into being race winning. 3-shy Kai, can't count him out anywhere he goes. We know the talent behind the wheel, so I'll take him 3rd. 4, another Kyle Young Money Larson. Can't go without him, baby. I don't care if you're racing tricycles out here on this Chicago street course. He's got to be in your top 5, man. You bet money you got to have him in the lineup. You got to. He's just that good. You never know when he's going to pop one off and win. So, I probably shouldn't have said that going to Chicago. But at the end of the day, man, I tell you what, he's due. About time for him to get back in victory lane. I'll take him 4th, man. 5, another guy that might be battling for that road course king crown. Tyler Reddick. I just had him on the not list, baby, but I'll put him back in the hot top 5 right here. I think that he's got young talent. I think he's got road courses figured out, very similar to what Kyle Larson does. The experience behind a wheel of just driving a race car has paid dividends for this young driver, and I'll be on the lookout for him. Dark horses, Michael McDowell. Had a top 3 at Sonoma going. Team let him down on that one on that last pit stop, man. I look for him to rebound strong and show their worth here on pit road and getting back inside that top 3 at Chicago. Another guy in the dark horse, another great road course guy, 17 of Chris Buescher. I think you got to watch out for him. Got the talent, quietly works his way up, gets those top 10 finishes. Last but not least, he could have easily made the top 5 as well, and that's A.J. Allmendinger, baby, the dinger himself. I mean, that man's got more experience on a road course than anybody in that field, driving all kinds of different road racing cars. If anybody's going to figure out how to do it on a flat street, I think it's A.J., man. So getting into that money line, baby, presented by Redfin Polarized. Like I said, man, whether you got money on the line or a wall hanger, make sure you see it clearly. Boom, with the best polarized lenses on the planet. That's how I see these cameras clearly every week when I wear mine up here. Got the Hatteras. I love them to death. Like I say, man, these glasses are made for the woods or the water. Best polarized lenses on the planet. Carl Zeiss lenses, Italian frames, man. These things are legit, man. Legit to the T. So like I said, you trying to look stylish for date night, trying to get some nice stylish glasses for somebody's birthday coming up, make sure you go check out that Redfin website. Use code Rubbin'n'Grubbin15 at checkout to save you 15%. And now, as I always like to say, man, whether it's offshore or on the lake, don't get caught without them. Get those red fins, and as always, live life fins up, baby. Redfin Polarized. Well, we swung and missed a little bit this week. I wasn't taking Ross Chastain, man. The odds I got on him weren't good. I seen some odds out there that were good, and I told Lawrence we're getting screwed on the odds, man. We're getting screwed on the odds because we can't buy in on the first line. Like when they first come out, I can't get on there Tuesday and get early money betting odds. I can't get it. What we do here is we go through after qualifying. They'll pop those odds up, and depending on where they qualify, depends a lot on those odds. And I tell you what, I wasn't taking Ross Chastain at plus 4,500. That's what I got him at. I wasn't doing it. It wasn't worth my time or my money, so I lost all 200, y'all. If you follow me out there, we lost it all, man. But I had Truex, I had Hamlin. Hell, I had a couple other guys in the top 5 pegged out, baby. We were looking good, just not the one that pays that hard-earned moolah, man. Still doing good, still up positive units, so we're going to get back at it this week. Look, Chase Elliott's at 500, and I know y'all, I'm probably going to take Chase Elliott. I mean, it's just my dog. I got to roll with him. I can't get caught. We're probably going to slim it back down for Chicago. I don't see it being a deep odds race, right? We're probably going to go 5 guys, maybe 6 tops, including wins and top 3s, if we even have top 3s. You might just go all wins, man. But looking at those early odds, Chase favorite opening up at 500, followed by Reddick at 650. So I feel like both those guys being on the top 5 that I just gave you probably going to get locked in, right? So there goes 2 out of the 6 I'm saying. We got 4 more. A little bit deeper in the field, like I said, you're looking at Truex, Kyle Busch, William Byron, all 7, 8, 900,000 right in that range. So I don't see that. We're going to at least probably take 2 of those guys. So now we're down to 2 more. Going to go deep. Now, there's some good value found in some good drivers. So out of Hamlin and Logano, you're looking at plus 2,000, if not more, on each with the opening odds. If you're telling me I can get Joey Logano, remember what happened last time we went to a place that was the first time racing there? As far as the clash went, Joey Logano won it. And it's pretty flat, all right? And it's on a freaking football field, so it can't have that much grip. So anyways, if you're telling me I can get him at plus 3,000, 2,800. Come on, man. One of those guys we got to lock in, which leaves one real big money odd shot. There's a lot of guys deep. McDowell in there. He's in that in that range. I mean, when you go back and you look a little bit deeper than that, there's some good equipment out there. Brad Keselowski, Ty Gibbs might get it figured out. Who knows, man? There's some back there that's big money paydays. But make sure you follow us on social media. LB does a great job of posting all that, whether it be on that truck race, Xfinity, and the Cups. You could play along with us, man. Drop your locks. Let me see who you got in your fantasy league. We can go back and forth about it. Let me know if you feel like I missed something, man. But those get posted up before that race, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, man. Like I say, follow us, social media, rubbing and grubbing, baby. Keep up to date with it. Damn, it's hot out here, LB. Boy, I'm humid right now, man. So getting into that hard right turn, but before we do, got to give a big shout out to who sponsors that part of the show, Lamar's Body Shop, baby. 35 plus years of taking care of Savannah's auto collision needs. 2301 Skidaway Road, hop, skip, and a jump right away from Coach's Corner. It's a double win-win, man. You can drop off the car for the collision estimate, get the work done, come here to Coach's, have lunch, go back, pick it up. Like I say, it doesn't matter what it is, all your needs, paint job, new bumpers, got to get some fenders, whatever it may be, man. Estimate for the pesky insurance company. Make sure you go see Lamar and his crew doing the finest work in the Savannah area in the auto collision business, man. 2301 Skidaway Road. Again, 2301 Skidaway. As I always like to say, why settle for par? Go see Lamar, baby. Lamar, love you, dude. So getting into that hard right turn, and it kind of resorts back to what I was mentioning about Chicago Street Course and some of the other venues. Even Bristol Dirt can fall into it. It's not a big venue, right? And what I like to say is new venues create a buzz, but will it be heard or will it be a turd, man? And look, Bristol Dirt has gained popularity from the start. Now, the difference I'll say is this, my friend, is the venue. The concerts, North Wilkesboro, a venue, the concerts, the music, the hype that's all built up around it, right? So when you buy and you pay that price, and like I said, very limited seating at here as it is to North Wilkesboro, and we're talking in the range of $300 a ticket. And this is going to go one of two ways, man. There's been a huge buzz around NASCAR coming here, and it's caught some backlash blocking off these roads right here from locals in that area. It's caught some backlash from some business owners. But look, the influx, the amount of people that it's going to bring in for the concerts, the music that's going on, the nightlife, the different activities they have around, right? So it's becoming more of a NASCAR race. It's not just the race itself. It's the venue. And I think as NASCAR continues to grow in popularity, you'll start seeing some bigger things happen, right? Maybe you'll start seeing some more concerts like, hey, you buy a ticket to come to the NASCAR race in Atlanta, you can go to the stage set up outside and catch a guy like, whoever it may be, a rock guy or a country artist or a girl, or, a pop or whoever it may be. There again, your ticket price is going to go up, but, that's kind of the nature of the beast. So I think there's a fine balance. I think that one-offs like this, or a one-year event or two-year event where you have those type things going on for 3 or 4 days, awesome show. Now with that being said, NASCAR has checked one of the boxes. 70% of ticket purchasers for the grandstands for the Chicago Street Race are first-time NASCAR ticket buyers. So they've got the new eyes on the sport. Now, here it is, the downfall to it. Let's say that it turns into a snooze fest, and let's say that this is somebody that's new to NASCAR and wanting to experience that side-by-side enjoyment and the passing and, the bump and runs and the different things that us as NASCAR fans, we see week in and week out. Now, it might take a couple weeks to see it. Some tracks got it, some tracks don't, but we enjoy the sport as a whole. These guys are looking at the entertainment aspect of it. What is going to get me hooked into NASCAR? What is going to get me hooked to come back and buy tickets again, whether it not be at Chicago or maybe travel a little bit further and go to a different style race? I'm really hoping this puts on a show to be able to generate maybe 30% of that 70 buy tickets again and continue and become NASCAR fans. That's something that we need. When Chicagoland was up there, and to me as a NASCAR fan, that was one of the best races on the schedule. That race was awesome. The multi-groove, side-by-side racing, always had a good-looking finish there for the most part. I mean, and I hate to say it, but I think the next-gen car would be awesome on Chicagoland, baby. So whoever's listening out there, revive Chicagoland, man. Get the Xfinity Series back, get the Cup Series back, All-Star Race, baby, something. let's give it a whirl. But we're in Chicago street race. It's one of a kind. It's unique. It's going to attract popularity. It's in a major metropolis in the U.S. I think that NASCAR's, you know, fishing a little bit here to see how it does. Another thing, we just saw Le Mans. We just saw Le Mans 24. Who's not to say that we can't set up a some type of car to do that? We take what Hendrick did in the Le Mans car. We get the Gibbs and the Stewart Haas's, and we get those guys maybe not to build NASCAR cars, but we open up, you know, for them to build these type cars to go international and maybe get some of those type guys over in international at the Ferraris and Porsches and different things to want to build their version of it and open up another racing series that does street course races. There again, be pretty neat to see. But getting back to it, man, like I said, 4th of July weekend, a lot of music, a lot of build-up around it. Is this going to have the NASCAR feel and pay dividends? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say the revenue that NASCAR has paid for this to happen maybe doesn't completely bring them back out of the negative this weekend. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not a logistics guy. I'm not a statistical guy. I'm not a financial aid. I have no idea that what they spent actually and what they plan on bringing in through the weekend through concessions. I know the deals, it's all split up. The concessions, the TV, the ticket sales, the other events they have going on, that's all for their people to figure out. I know they're smart enough business people that if they didn't think they were going to make money, they wouldn't do it, especially to sign a multi-year deal. So, but I'm going to say, as a huge NASCAR fan, am I excited to see what's going to happen? I'm not excited. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be a bust for me as a normal guy that watches NASCAR every single Sunday. I think for me, it's going to be a bust. Now, I thought the same thing about Bristol Dirt, and after the first year, I went, go back. After the second year, I went, go back to concrete. After the third year, I went, well, that was a better race. That was one of the better races, but guess what? Go back to concrete. That's just me. NASCAR is concrete, asphalt racing. It is banked racing. It is, you know, 1.5 miles, short tracks, super speedways. That to me is NASCAR racing. I think that we have too many road course races. I think that adding a street race is great for a one-off, awesome. But after that, you got to go back and figure out some different things, man. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's going to change. I think if it's a great race, I'll be like, man, you know what? Give those folks in Chicago a freaking pat on the back and huge credit at NASCAR for bringing a great race. But I'm not going to say that it's one of my favorite places. I'm not going to do that. It's just me. I don't enjoy road course racing. It's not my style. So we'll see what happens. There again, like I said, downside to it will be if they don't make that money back in the turnout and we lose a lot of those new first-time buyer fans, because let's be honest, that's what NASCAR's trying to do. They're trying to throw that worm out there and get the people out of there to put the eyes on the sport, to bring a new geographical, you know, air of new fans that tune in every single week, boost those ratings, boost those ticket sales in and surrounding areas of that Midwest. We'll see what happens, man, but good luck to NASCAR. Hope it does. And Atlanta man will be tuned in, as always, to check it out this Sunday to see what happens, man. So that's going to do it for the rubbing part. We are moving on to the grubbing, baby. And look, I'm not even going to attempt to say, but we got the Coach's Corner's version of a few Chicago dogs, man. Hey, I know they don't come close. I've had them personally in life, but I tell you what, this is one of the baddest hot dogs you can find in my area. Got them with the chili, got them with the onions, a little cheese to throw on there, never hurts, man. Homemade chips. These things are legit right here, buddy. One of my favorite new sides. But, again, if you haven't yet, come into Coach's Corner. Not a bad thing to be found on the menu. John and Adele Henderson and their staff do an amazing job. If you find something on the menu, you want to change it up, do some things, if it's possible, they'll tweak it for you, man. Good wraps, great salads, one of the best burgers. The burger's one of my favorite things. A lot of different appetizers, man. A lot of likes for anybody out there. It doesn't matter what your flavor is. Coaches and everybody here got something for you, man. So make sure you come up and check it out, baby. So, got to give a big shout out to the Coach's Corner Sports Network shows as well. Coach Carl DeMasi with that Sports Prep Report live right here in the Sound Garden every single Saturday, keeping you up to date with everything sports as far as the prep goes in the Savannah area. Carl knows his stuff, man. He's a staple. That sports report, I usually tune in. I've missed the past couple weeks. Sorry about that, Coach. We've been super swamped at work. But he can tell you in the winter and into the beginning season of my season, I'm tuned in every Saturday, baby, giving my 2 cents, yelling, screaming, go Dogs, chop on Braves. You know, I even throw some other stuff in there every once in a while. But make sure you tune in again every Saturday, live right here at Coach's Corner in the Sound Garden. You can also go out and subscribe to Carl DeMasi Sports Report on YouTube, so make sure you go and check that channel out as well. If you subscribe to Rubbin' and Grubbin', go subscribe to Carl DeMasi Sports Report as well, baby. Also got the baseball podcast, Who's on First Base, coming to you every single Tuesday. Make sure you stream that anywhere you stream your podcast. You got Coach Carl DeMasi and the baseball guru Kyle Lawson breaking down everything that's happening in MLB, who's hot, who's not, how those Braves are doing, what's going on with the Cubbies. I don't know, man. It took a Brave. I think the Braves got the Cubbies covered, man. I tell you what, I think the Braves got a lot of folks covered this year. Got to get tight in a few little areas, but they know more than I do, so make sure you download or stream that podcast as well. That comes out every single Tuesday, man. So it's a great weekend to go out in the boat, enjoy it, go spend some time with the fam, do all that. Yeah, 4th of July, I tell you what, it's going to be great, man. So that's going to wrap it up. But before I get out of here, man, I do want to have a conversation with everybody viewing in tonight. I have a lot of brothers in arms out there. I got a lot of family, friends that are all military. I got a lot of family and friends from every aspect of walk of life, man. Whether they're financially stable, whether they're struggling, whether they're crazy, whether they're happy, whether they're depressed, whether they're sad, whether they're whatever it may be. A lot of different walks of life, man. And as we all know, that biggest news about what's happened this week with Jimmy Johnson's family just brings back into the forefront, and I've talked about it on here before, man, mental health, man. Mental health in America, in the world in general, but in America is a huge deal. I blame it on quite a few different things. I'm not going to blame it on all of it to that, man, but I will say this. If you know somebody that's struggling or you think might be struggling, man, pick that phone up. Don't hesitate. Call them. Press them. You know, if they don't want to talk about it, call them again in the next couple of days, man. Text them again. Check in with them, man. Take them out. Have a drink or, you know, go fishing with them, man. Go out and watch a movie. Do something. Get those people involved and show them that there are bright things in this life and things do get better. And, you know, if they need help and you feel like you need help mentally, if you're aware of your situation mentally, go get that help, man. I know a lot of cultures and a lot of things and people, as men especially, we look at being mentally weak if we're mentally unstable, right? But really, if we're mentally unstable, we're not able to be the full capacity of the man that we need to be for whoever it may be, ourselves, our family, our kids, our wives, our girlfriends, our partners, our moms, our dads, whoever, right? So it all starts here, and it also trickles into you physically, man. So if you think you're struggling with a little bit, go out there and get some help. There's a lot of professionals, there's a lot of different aids, man, whatever it may be, to get your mind right and to grow your mental strength back to where it needs to be. Do what you got to do, man, whatever it may be. Call me, man. Write me. Give me your number. Shoot me your number. I'll call you, check on you. You can come hang out with me anytime, man. We'll go do some things. We'll talk about it. We'll be about it. We'll do a lot of stuff, man. But don't let our brothers and sisters that are out here that have mental health issues or are going through a lot of stressful situations get down in the dumps and feel like things that we saw with Jimmy Johnson be the only and last resort that they have. I don't know the backstory to that. None of us do. That family might. But at the end of the day, we know there's a lot of stories out there without the name Jimmy Johnson involved that are very similar to this. A lot of lives taken, you know, by suicide in the U.S. I mean, that number has continued to only grow. Probably going to start contending out there with the opioid crisis at some point in time if we keep going where we're going. So, like I said, man, always hug your loved ones, give them a kiss, call those people, get together, man, get involved, show your love. We got to, hey, like I said, man, USA, you know, we got to be united, right? We're all about brotherhood and being united. Right now we're divided on so many different issues. Let's come together and get this country back great. Let's work together and raise each other up, our brothers and sisters. Let's pick each other up, man, not put each other down. So, till next week, love you guys. Give all your loved ones out there a big hug and kiss. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next week, as always, stay safe. Pow. Wash your hands, y'all. Peace. I love the chips, man.